This is Street Warrior Radio episode 001 with your hosts Big Bo and me, JC. How's it going, Big Bo?
It's good, man. How's it going with you?
Wonderful.
Yes,
wonderful.
Sir.
You ready to get this podcast going?
Yes, I am. I'm super excited.
Awesome. What is a street warrior? A street warrior is you. It's me. A street warrior is a cop working a beat, a soldier fighting on some distant battlefield, a mom, a dad working hard every day for their kids. A street warrior is the factory worker, the businessman, the doctor, or nurse pushing to move forward in their lives. Anyone can be a street warrior. A street warrior doesn't lay down when things get tough. A street warrior gets up out of bed every day and fights. Fights for their dreams, their families, their future. When challenges come their way, a street warrior welcomes this. They tackle it head on and refuse to accept defeat. If they are defeated, they know it's only temporary. A setback they will overcome because they must stay in the fight. There is no other alternative. This risk is too great and the reward, it's even greater. The goal of this podcast is not to tell people what they need to do. They already know what needs to be done. The goal is to help give that extra push they may need to win, to stay in the fight. We all need this sometimes. We don't have all the answers. That's not realistic. But the lessons we have learned, both personally and professionally, are aimed to give that push, to offer a way, not necessarily the way. Our hope is the street warriors everywhere can apply these lessons that we've endured to their own lives. Because of our law enforcement careers, we've been exposed to virtually every facet of human life and behavior, from horrific to wonderful, often within a single day at work. We are also human beings and have struggles like everyone else, struggles we've overcome and struggles we continue to fight through. Our story is not unique among cops. There are just under 1 million of us in a country of 350 million, and the only real difference between the everyday person and us is the career path that we're called to. That's it. We felt this simple truth has been lost, and it's what we aim to resolve. Our lives and jobs can be hard, but so are everyone else's. A warrior is defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as a person engaged or experienced in warfare. Broadly, a person engaged in some struggle or conflict. When we as human beings hit the street every day and deal with those struggles or conflicts, we become street warriors, and together, we will overcome and win. Welcome to Street Warrior Radio. So,
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. That's original too, by the way, everybody. That's straight out of that man's brain.
Well, I have good ideas every once in a while.
Well, everybody does.
So, in doing this podcast, and people obviously don't know who we are.
Yes.
And obviously, in the field that we're in and with everything, obviously, we have pseudonyms for our names. And in coming up with those names, where's Big Bo from?
Big Bo is, excuse me. Big Bo is something I got from the Army. We had a platoon sergeant. I won't say his name, but it was me and my buddies, and he just started calling us Big in our last name. So we had Big T, Big O, and Big Bo, and I just always stuck with it, and I just liked it, and so I kept it as my moniker.
Nice. Well, in that, who is Big Bo? Where do you come from? What are you about?
Okay, that's a good question. It's open-ended. I can fill in some of the blanks. So,
this is where we make stuff up, right?
Yeah, this is where everything. I'm gonna make myself sound amazing. I'm just gonna be the best person ever. I walked on water once.
One time
only, but it was frozen. I grew up in Arizona. Was raised mostly by my grandmother. Beautiful woman. She was from Louisiana, so I had that southern upbringing in the West. So
it's an interesting mix.
Yeah, very interesting mix. So, Arizona is very heavily influenced by California and everything that goes with that lifestyle. But I had my grandmother there to keep me, out of trouble. I had a bunch of cousins that kept me in trouble, but my grandma was always my home base, so that was good. And she gave us two options growing up. You either went to the service or you went to college. And I graduated high school, and I was like, I'm not going to do another 4 years of school. So I'm going to go to the military. So I joined the military with my best friend, went to the Army, and started off my career in the military as a 92 Sierra. That is laundry and textile specialist. And people hate on that, but I will tell you, when you are out there in the field for 2 weeks, you're going to want to shower, hands down. I switched my MOS over to truck driver. I had 2 deployments overseas, one to Iraq, one to Kuwait. And I did half a tour in Korea, which was really fun. Being 19, coming from Arizona, going to Korea, it was snowing, and I had never really been in snow like that, so that was pretty fun. And then I got to Fort Hood through my travels in the military, and I realized I didn't want to do the Army anymore. I was a little bit, I was too old. I was too old to do the Army anymore.
Young man's game?
It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game, and then you kind of get the, I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock just because.
Right.
It's just because you have to get up at 6 o'clock.
And so you became a cop.
So I became a cop. Yeah. Well, my goal was I want to do something that's just like the Army, but I don't want to do the Army anymore.
Gotcha.
So I started looking at options, and I looked at jailer, and I looked at police officer, and then I started watching Locked Up, and decided jailer was not for me.
Yeah, I
was not going to be a jailer or be very good at that. So I chose police officer. Started looking into that. Went to a police academy in Waco, Texas. I had to drive an hour to and from, uphill, both ways. And did pretty good in that. And got a job at a college, fresh out of the academy. Worked there for almost 2 years. And then got a job with a city police agency that gave me a chance, an opportunity. That's where I met JC. And I am a father. I am divorced.
Ooh, but not on the market.
I have a girlfriend who has children. I have children. So we are a blended family. And we make it work. We make it work, man. It's beautiful. I love my kids. That's where all my free time goes. So when JC approached me with this podcast, I was like, yeah, man, let's jump on it. Let's do this. And my time is very... very well stretched. I will say that. Having 4 kids between me and my girlfriend is very stretched. So when he came to me with this idea, if it would have been something that I didn't believe that we could do and that we could be good at, I would have told him no. But seeing his vision line up with where I thought we could take Street Warrior Radio and where we're going to take Street Warrior Radio, I believed in it. He believed in it. And we decided to give it 110%. And if you're not going to give something 110%, you shouldn't do it.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I, too, have the circus going on at home.
Yes.
But a little bit about myself.
Your circus is a little bit bigger, though.
Circus is a little bit bigger, yeah. Yes. Which is why I'm always broke. So I'm JC. If you haven't figured out, those are probably my initials. But I grew up in South Texas in the Corpus Christi area on the Gulf Coast, and grew up kind of a weird life, I guess. A very, I guess what's now like a modern day family, pretty much, but a broken up family. You know,
what you see on Modern Family.
Pretty much, yeah. Grew up. Pretty uneventful, other than, I played a little basketball. That was like extracurricular activity.
This man is a true point guard, too. I will tell y'all that. I have balled with him on the court. He is a true point guard.
I'm seriously the, fat, white Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, underrated. You're definitely underrated.
Just although Dirk Nowitzki's white, so that doesn't make any sense. But I'm the fat, shorter version of him, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Not German, either.
Not German.
Yeah. But definitely you got some skills.
One or two. I can dribble the basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can go 5 or 6 minutes without getting completely winded.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can attest to that.
Yeah. It's amazing.
You're
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got into music Started playing bass guitar. Started getting into writing music. Got into a band. Because kind of in a band from like 17 to 20, 21. Trying to make it big as a rock star. Obviously, that didn't work out. Kind of moved on from there to kind of some industry jobs in the refinery business and offshore construction. And then, while I was working in the refinery business, there was the port of Corpus Christi actually has its own police department.
Yeah.
And those guys would come by and hang out and just because they had nothing to do. And started talking to them, more about it. And I was in college at the time and decided I wanted to go the criminal justice route, which is not the route to go for all you aspiring people in law enforcement. Criminal justice degree is a joke because if something actually happens to your career for some reason, whatever, you get tired of it and you decide to leave, it literally applies to nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. Like, I would seriously suggest like business or, something that makes sense in the real world.
I'm currently getting my degree in criminal justice, by the way.
Which means that he has to stay in this profession.
That means we're going to be doing Street Warrior Radio for a very long time.
Very long time, because it's about the only thing it applies to.
Yes.
But I was doing criminal justice, and the Border Patrol and another agency from the Dallas area came down and did their little recruiting deal, and I ended up applying for the one not the Border Patrol, and ended up getting the job, and that was 11 years ago. So I went to the police academy, and kind of the rest was history. And I've now worked for both big and small departments, and it's a big there's a strange dichotomy between the two.
Yes,
very different cultures.
Yes.
The job is basically the same, but it's very different cultures. But in that time I've worked a lot of different fields within law enforcement. A lot of them I'm very proud of. A lot of them that I feel like myself and my partners accomplished really good things, actually made a difference, and something that will always kind of stick with me. But I'm also married to my beautiful wife, and I have, between my wife and I, we have 6 children. So, yeah, it's insane. Hence the always broke comment. So,
yeah.
So in that, I kind of got into podcasting on the listener end, on the user end, earlier this year, actually. Actually last year, I guess now, but 2017. And was heavily influenced by a couple of podcasts, mainly Jocko Willink and Echo Charles's podcast, Jocko podcast, the Tim Ferriss Show, the Joe Rogan Experience.
Joe Rogan's dope.
Started listening to those. Sam Harris is another one. And I started listening to those, and before I knew it, I was kind of captivated by the amount of knowledge and the amount of experience and the topics and everything that kind of just flooded my brain. And I thought, you know what? That's something I could do. I figured that, all the lessons that I've learned over my career and over my life, all the different mistakes that I've made, all the accomplishments that I've had, both personally and professionally, and, disasters, failures, both personally and professionally, that I've had, really, when you look at it, aren't that much different from what everybody else experiences. It's just a different stage is all it is.
Everybody has failures. It's where you go from there.
Yeah, and in those lessons that I learned, that you've learned, I felt that maybe through podcasting, and I've always kind of felt like I've always enjoyed teaching, being a trainer in law enforcement. That's one of my favorite things because you're getting to mold someone, you're getting to help them. You're getting to help them overcome challenges of being a new police officer, and it's something that I, have loved and taken a lot of pride in. And I thought, well, why couldn't I apply that to everyone else? Surely there's tons of people out there that go through the same struggles, have been through the same things, I've made bad decisions and learned from them, made good decisions, and reveled in the reward of those. And I think we all need some sort of voice out there.
Definitely.
That,
somebody that went through the same thing that you went through. Maybe not the same exact way, but where you can pull from that and just be like, huh, that kind of matches up with my life. Like sort of like when you're in a breakup and you listen to the radio and every song is about breakups.
Yeah, everything, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just like, everyone's going through it, not just me.
Right? And it's, you know, and I learned, you know, like when I first got into law enforcement, I had 2 mentors, and those guys, and it wasn't like a, hey, will you be my mentor sort of deal. They just kind of took me under their wing and taught me what they knew, and I needed that to overcome the challenges that I was facing. And I think the same thing is true in life. I think that, you know, everybody needs somebody or a voice, you know, that kind of comes into their head and says, hey, you know, I've been through that. I understand where you're coming from. This is what I did about it, and maybe that'll work for you. And I thought that podcasting would be a great way to be able to do that and be able to deliver those life lessons that I've learned. So I got with Big Bo and you know, kind of, we talked about it, and we're like, yeah, you know what, that's great. We both have, he didn't really mention this before, but you know, he's got a musical background too.
Failed rapper.
Yeah, he's a failed rapper. Failed rapper. I'm a failed rock star. You know, it's just kind of this. And almost every cop is a failed something. It just didn't work out. So
failed YouTuber.
Failed
YouTuber. I tried that for a little while.
And it did. Failed. And it's just right. And
it didn't work. This is third time's a charm for my media experience.
Yeah. That's what they say.
So I have a question for you. You said you like training.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of training somebody?
My favorite part of training someone is when that person has a challenge in front of them that they don't know what to do. Yeah. They have absolutely no idea what to do. And after you give them the guidance, and then they get it, and that moment they get it.
That's my favorite too.
That moment they get it.
The light bulb comes on. Yeah. So when I was in the military, part of one of my units, we came back from our deployment from Iraq. We were in the Mosul area, all up in there, and we came back and we got tasked with a training regiment. We were training a lot of people in the 3rd ID that were getting ready to deploy.
Right.
And when you would show them the techniques you just learned, so that's why they give it to you. You just came back. We want you to show everybody the latest and greatest stuff that's out there. And that moment that the light bulb comes on.
Yeah.
That aha moment. And it's just like, oh, man, I helped them achieve that.
Right.
It's just one of the best feelings in the world. Yeah.
100%.
It's just great.
Yeah.
I can't get my kids to do that.
No, that's impossible.
Impossible. But when you're training somebody, military, law enforcement, I haven't gotten to train anybody in law enforcement yet, but I've trained people in the military, and it's just, man, seeing them get that, it's beautiful.
Because you know that what your experience and your wisdom, you have now transferred onto somebody else, and it's going to make them successful. That's a good feeling.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To be able to,
that skill could potentially save their life.
Sure, absolutely,
100%.
100%. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That saves their life, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's that's my favorite moment for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But so we did this. We kind of threw it back and forth, the Street Warrior Radio thing, and it took forever to come. We came up with some stupid names. I think mostly me. I was just like throwing stuff out there, and he was just like, no.
You want to know why I like Street Warrior Radio?
Why?
To be honest with you, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and so it was like the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, so the Ultimate Warrior.
And you threw Street Warrior on top of that. And I was just like, that's pretty dope. I like that.
And he added the radio part, so he does get like
I get
33.3% credit.
I get like 2 cents. 2 cents on the dollar.
So, and saying all that pretty much is what Street Warrior Radio is. You know, it's us delving into our experiences, delving into our pasts, and looking at the life lessons we've learned from successes and mistakes, and transferring those on to other people. And hopefully through that, it helps somebody figure out how to go through whatever it is that they're going through.
Definitely. If just one person out of 1,000 listeners goes, I can use that in my life, I've done something positive for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the goal. I mean,
that's the goal.
Our if our whole point of being here is to help other people. You know what I mean? And you know, obviously we picked a career of service, but
definitely
everybody can pick a career of service, and they may not be professionally and maybe personally.
Yeah.
You know, it's about helping other people. It's about trying to be a good person. It's about trying to give what you can back to other people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know? And I think, we can go to a whole,
Yeah, we can get on a tangent.
Kumbaya sort of deal, everybody holding hands. But I mean, realistically though, I mean, if part of your goal every day is to do something nice for somebody,
oh yeah,
you know, you've done something, you've made a difference, right?
Yeah, you're putting that energy out into the universe. Exactly,
and it does kind of make a quote unquote better world or whatever.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's Street Warrior Radio.
That's why we chose a podcast,
right? Podcasts are good because, you know, you're delivering a message to a broad number of people, and there's a broad number of ways for the message to get out there. And we have faces for radio, so
yeah, for sure.
You know, it worked out.
Yeah,
it worked out.
I think that's why my YouTube channel failed.
Right. Maybe so. Maybe that's why we shouldn't put this on YouTube.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, that being said, you know, with a podcast, right, that we talked about, we actually had a recent conversation about it, was fitness.
Yes.
Right? That's like a huge deal, and I know it is in law enforcement.
Oh yeah, and it's we're not original, guys. I mean, we didn't come up with fitness.
No,
just to let you know that
it has been around.
It has been around for a while.
And at one time, both Big Bo and I were not A shape, but in shape.
Yes, at one point in time in life, I was in good shape. I actually took a picture on my personal Instagram. Funny story, segue. And immediately after pressing send, I don't think that picture was up for more than 30 seconds. One of my very good friends, who I was in the military with, called me and said, "Hey, I need you to do me a huge favor." And I was like, "What's up, bud? I got you." He was like, "Go get in the gym." Immediately.
Wow.
And I was like, I am in the gym. And he was like, "You're not. You're not happy with yourself." And he guessed around about my weight. And it's just, it's one of those things, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like a crackhead, you got to hit rock bottom.
And that's exactly what it is.
It's horrible. And trust me, I was not always in shape. I struggled with my weight. In high school, I was really big into weightlifting, put on a bunch of muscle and thickness, and had to lose like 15 pounds to get in the Army, which wasn't hard at the time. It was just dieting real quick. I was already in the gym. Went into the Army, struggled with my weight in the Army on and off. Because it's not that I was fat. It's just the Army standards are strict when you're young.
Pleasantly plump.
Yeah, when you're in the Army and you're under the age of 22, the Army is pretty strict on you. Like, I think I had to be 179 pounds and I was like 181. And they were like, "Hey, Tubby, we're going to need you to lose that weight."
Yeah.
And it was just constant battle. But, you know, there was, you know, lows in my career and highs in my career where I was in shape and I was out of shape. And then got out of the Army and was like, no one's going to tell me how big I can be and what I can't eat no more.
Yeah, because there's nobody telling you what to do.
Exactly. And I didn't have to get up at 6 a.m. to go run.
I suddenly have free will.
Yeah, I have free will. So I put on a bunch of weight in the police academy because it was just like I was driving an hour, so breakfast was fast food, lunch was fast food, dinner was fast food for 6 months, and I put on a bunch of weight, and I have not been able to get that stuff off.
Yeah, no, it's hard too. I mean, you know, like, I don't know. What's funny is you said, you know, the police academy is when you got fat, you know.
Yeah, it is. Because I didn't go to a traditional police academy where you had to PT all the time.
Right.
It was twice, maybe 3 times a week, and it was just, you know, a light jog and some push-ups and sit-ups. Coming from the military, I did that easily.
Sure.
So, and just, you know, running a mile and a half is nothing in 16 minutes when you're coming from the Army. I couldn't do it now.
Oh, no.
But coming straight out of the Army, going to the police academy, I was good to go. So, after my friend told me that, and I ate a cheeseburger because I felt real bad for myself, and that's what you do.
Well, that's naturally where you go.
Yeah, no, you eat your feelings.
Right.
100%.
Well, you go straight to your addiction.
Exactly. Straight to your addiction, because he made me feel bad, and I hope he listens to this. He better listen to this. I called JC, and I said, "Hey, man, there's something I want to do. Let me know what you think about it." If we're going to be real with our listeners, and we're going to, you know, part of this podcast is to try to help people be accountable for their lives, and part of our lives is being in shape and staying in shape for the fight.
I was eating a cheeseburger when he called me.
I said, let's put our weight on Instagram on our Street Warrior Radio page, take pictures of our scale, side by side them, and we'll do that once a month to show the listeners and ourselves that, you know, we're dedicated to this, not just Street Warrior Podcast. We're dedicated to staying and getting in the fight, and part of getting in the fight to me is getting in shape. because I don't know how many fights you've been in. I know of a couple of fights you've been in, and I've been in two real fights and some tussles in my short career. You're out of breath. Your life's on the line.
Oh, it's
legit.
100%.
And so, honestly, how can I say that I'm in the fight when I'm out of shape? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And those dudes on the street, you may think a meth addict is out of shape. Nobody is stronger than a dude who's not going back to jail.
Yeah, in that moment, sure.
In that moment, that's legit. He's not going back to jail. And he's going to fight you until he's in handcuffs, he runs away, or one of you are dead. And that's the realistic part of our job. Those are the only three outcomes that are happening in our line of work. Either he's getting away.
Yeah, and you actually experienced that. Yeah. That's happened.
Yeah, that's happened to me. Either he's getting away, he's going in handcuffs, or one of your lives are ended. And you see it every day on the news. You see it, when you work a job with people, you hear about it. So-and-so officer was in a fight and he got tuned up and he's in the hospital, and that's not somewhere I want to be. We both got kids, so...
yeah, I mean, you get people that depend on you.
Yeah, definitely. I can't be out of work anytime.
Yeah.
So that's really part of, everyone, my New Year's resolution. It's not a resolution for me to get in shape. It's a lifestyle change. And I know I need to do it.
And that's what it is. It's a lifestyle. 100% it's a lifestyle. It's portion of your time that you have to dedicate to it, that you have to take away from not from yourself. If you really think about it, working out, getting in shape, those are not things that you're taking away time, because sometimes those can cause problems at home, right? Mm-hmm. I got to go to the gym. Well, I need you to go do this. I need you to do that. But
I've been there.
Yeah, everybody does. But going to the gym and working out and keeping yourself in shape, that is for not only you, but it's for your family. It's for them, because the better health you're in, the longer around you're going to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, my thing is... I'm a sleep junkie, guys. I love to sleep. If I get 15 free minutes...
I don't know what sleep is.
I'm going to take a nap because I love sleep. And that's my thing. So what do you want to give up? Do you want to give up your life, or do you want to give up 2 hours of sleep? And I've decided I'm going to give up those 2 hours of sleep. When I was in the military and they were just like, you need to lose weight, I was like, okay, cool. Every morning on the dot, 5:30, I was in the gym working out, full sweaty PTs, going to PT, running, going to work, and then at 4 o'clock leaving work and going straight to the gym. I was dedicated. That was my life. And you just have to get back in that mindset. You really do. How bad do you want this?
And it's hard. And I was the same way. So, not to brag or anything, while he was getting fat in the police academy, I actually won the physical fitness award. So, but... and
I want to see that. I want to see the certificate they gave me.
I've got it. I'll show it to you. I'll post it online. So, and that's the thing. I've always had a problem fluctuating, right? So, I grew up a relatively skinny kid, but then suddenly in high school, when puberty hit, boom, I blew up. I mean, I blew up. And then over the course of a summer between 8th grade and 9th grade, I dropped over 100 pounds in that.
Jeez.
And I didn't do anything. That's crazy. I mean, this crazy thing. And I don't know if it was...
Your metabolism
I guess it was your metabolism caught up, or something. I don't know. But I lost a ton of weight. And I got skinny again. I this is going to sound crazy, but in high school, or in 8th grade, I think I was probably 5'6", something like that. Oh, yeah,
I was short.
But I hit 300 pounds.
Oh, jeez, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
when I walked by things that were metal, I dragged them with my gravitational pull.
Jeez.
And then I dropped down, and I somehow, over the course of that summer, and literally 3 months, and there's no exaggeration, 3 months, I went from, I think it was 303 pounds.
I can't even see you at 300 pounds, dude. That's crazy.
Pretty close right now. But I dropped down to
knocking at its door.
178 pounds.
Jeez.
178 pounds, and I had a growth spurt.
Yeah, that's definitely what it was.
Here I am, 5'9", 5'10", going into high school, and 174 pounds or 178 pounds, and I'm super skinny. I was a skeleton.
Yeah.
And I kind of rode that, up until I got into the police academy.
Yeah.
And I had some weight fluctuations here and there.
Yeah, everybody does.
But and then the police academy, I got in really good shape. And I was able to stay in A shape relative to that through a good chunk of the first part of my police career. And then I started getting into working out. Again, as I had, right before I got into law enforcement, I got this little kick as I was preparing to go into law enforcement. I got in this kick where I was working out and consistently, and I don't think I knew what I was doing. So I really didn't have I didn't have the results I probably could have had I known what I was doing, because I was just kind of going there and just pushing weights. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But once I kind of learned what to do, and then I started getting into it, and I worked at a place at the time that had a really nice gym.
Yeah.
And so I'd get off, I'd get out of my shift, and then I would go work out, and was eating right and doing all those things, feeling great.
I'd love to know how many of our listeners work at a place where they have a gym.
Yeah.
And does that help?
It's got. You think it would, right?
You think it would have its benefits. I mean, I've never been in a place where they've had that. But I would imagine that it would be great to go to work.
Oh, it's awesome.
To go to work before your shift, work out, at least get in a run, shower, put your duty gear on. I mean, you feel like $1 million because working out releases tons of endorphins.
Right.
You'd feel great. You'd be on a natural high.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it consistently in the way you're supposed to be, then you feel great. If you're not doing it the way you're supposed to be, you're sore all the time.
Yeah,
and all that,
definitely.
But so it was easy for me. It was easy for me to do that, and then I was having back problems, and then I got into a pretty bad accident at work, which I was stupid because I didn't. I could have been a lot. I could have called it out for what it was, but I was trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. Right?
Oh yeah,
because we all do that, especially in law enforcement. I'm not hurt, and then you go home and you're just like, holy shit, and
for sure.
And then that's your next forever, and my back problems got worse and worse and worse, and then with that came less working out, and then came giving up on the diet, and then came the weight, and of course that compounds the
back issue.
Right?
Yep.
So
weight is horrible,
and in all that, the problem becomes not that you don't know what to do, not that you don't know that I need to go to the gym, I need to eat the things that I'm supposed to eat. The problem becomes getting off your ass and doing it, and getting the motivation. Yeah. Because the motivation goes away, right?
Yeah.
And it gets so much.
You get
easier.
comfortable.
Yeah, and it gets so much easier to go. Oh, there's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Double cheeseburgers sound awesome right now. You know what I mean?
Instead of that chicken and rice with broccoli.
Right. Yeah. Something that's high protein. Low carb.
Yep.
Because it's easier. It's easier to run through a drive-through and spend money than it is to sit in your kitchen for 2 hours and meal prep for a week.
Yep.
It's just easier.
Yep.
But the problem is that it's bad for you.
Yeah.
And in order to accomplish anything in life, in order to accomplish anything good in life, nothing comes free. You have to work for it. You have to put in the work to get the results, because the results from that work are going to be much greater than the results from not putting in the work.
Oh, yeah,
You're going to be much more rewarded. So where do you find the motivation?
Yeah.
Where do you get the motivation? How can you get it back? Let's say you had it once before, or you've never had it. Where do you get it? How do you make yourself get to the gym? How do you make yourself do those things?
What is it to you that's going to wake you up? You know what I mean?
Sure.
What's going to wake you up? Is it the heart attack? Is that what's going to wake you up? Is it, for me, it was honestly because me and him have both been in the trenches of the weight loss battle together, me and my friend. And so that was really my wake up call, was him calling me. It honestly was. I felt like crap that he called me, and I was like, God, I knew when I posted that picture too. I was like, he's gonna say something. Somebody somewhere is gonna say something. And he did. He called me out on it. And it's just, is it your kids, man? Are your kids going to hold you accountable? I mean, when you look at them and you're just like, I want to live. I want to see my kids grow up. And that's one thing for me too, man. I want to see all of them grow up.
Sure.
I want to walk my little girl down the aisle for sure. Right. So, that's my motivation. And I've really been lackadaisical, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Cause like you said, we know what to do, but, this time I'm real serious and I'm just getting back in it. And so it's a struggle, man. It really is. But you got to find that time. You've got to make that time. You honestly do. And that's part of staying in the fight.
Oh, absolutely. And, I think a lot of it, or what helps rather, is that accountability.
Yeah.
Is sometimes we need somebody else to give us that jab, to give us that poke, to make us feel low.
Yeah.
So that we go, I got to finally do something about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you start the process like, hey, woo, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm working out.
Oh, yeah, January 1. It's New Year, new me. I'm in it.
You go to the gym, and then the next day you're like, oh, I'm tired.
I will tell you it's not the tired feeling, but I am part of the instant gratification society. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I step on the scale Monday. Then I'm like, okay, here's my weight. Okay, my target goal is 5 pounds this month. That's what I'm going to get at, and that's what I'm going to do it. A pound a month, a little over a pound a month. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get in it. I have meal prep, and then like Wednesday I get on the scale, and I haven't lost any weight, and I'm like, this is a waste.
I'm done
with this. But you have to be consistent. I've told people before. I've told my girlfriend this because she'll be like, "Oh, I was on the scale this week and I weighed this much, and then I jumped on 3 days later and I weighed this much, and I was like, oh, I really didn't eat that healthy, but I did cut down on my portions." And I'm like, your weight reflects 2 to 3 days of prior eating. So like you could be working out for 3 straight days and you could gain weight because all the food you were eating before those 3 days you went to the gym was straight junk.
Well, yeah, it's literally that's completely counterproductive.
Yeah, So you have to fuel your body for 3 to 4 weeks.
Well, what is it? 90% of weight loss is in the kitchen.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
right.
It's something like that. And so you're not going to see instant results. I will tell you that right now. And that's one thing I have to tell myself.
Yeah.
I'll tell people that all day long, oh, you're not going to see instant results.
Yeah.
It takes
Go
time.
to the gym one time
it's a
and
process.
you're all,
Yeah. And then, I go to the gym and I'm like, I didn't lose anything. I suck. But, you've got to stay with it. And, that's one thing that I really want to stick with this year. And talking to JC, I know that's something he wants to stick with this year. So we're going to post our weights this week right before the show comes. So when you see that on our Instagram, I probably will do it after the show starts. So that way people know, they're just not, why are these two random?
We're going to publicly fat shame ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to publicly fat shame ourselves for your entertainment because...
And feel free to comment.
Yeah, please do, because it'll motivate us. And then, you know what? Hey, I want you to, keep us accountable. If you don't see that weight the next month on there, start hitting us up in those comments.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Email us at info@streetwarriorradio.com, Definitely, hey, where's the weigh-in? When are you guys weighing in? So that way you guys will know if we're really keeping up with it.
Yeah, because the one thing we don't want to be are fraud, so,
Yeah, exactly.
We want to be able to be accountable for what we're doing.
Yep.
It's important.
All right, so I think another thing with the weight loss is, it's all fine and dandy, you get in the gym and get into shape, but another way that you got to stay in the fight, especially if you are in a fight, is ways to defend yourself. So...
Oh, absolutely.
I'm pulling my military card again. Combatives. Huge thing, they teach us, if you get into close quarter combat, you need to know how to defend yourself and blah, 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 and all that. It's really important, I think. I think it's important to pick up some sort of discipline, whether it be boxing, jujitsu, karate. It's not all kicking boards and little kids with black belts. It's real self-defense. Muay Thai, anything. But
what is the ultimate underlying goal that all martial arts teach you? I mean, what is the thing that martial arts really puts into you? Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And for some people, you're going to go back to the weight loss thing. For some people, you don't have to be in shape to start martial arts.
No, heck no.
Right?
No.
But maybe it will help you develop that self-discipline to be able to commit to it.
And it's a community.
It's a 100% a community.
It's a community. Absolutely. You don't want to... You want to go there to see the people that you're training with every week because you want to show them, hey, I've learned something new.
Yeah, they become...
I'm getting better.
Right, they become your family.
Yeah, they really do.
They become family, and you're trying to attain a similar goal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because it's not just about self-defense and being able to handle stuff. That is a huge part of it, right?
Yeah.
but it's also an art form. You know, it's
definitely.
also developing your self-awareness, your self-preservation, your discipline, and through that, you can apply that to multiple things in life. That's one of the cool things about martial arts is you can apply that to like so many different things in your life, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's because it's not just about flipping somebody over or whatever. And
right.
And from what from what I've seen, something like Jujitsu is kind of gives you that balance.
Yeah.
Right? That how do you say this? Or what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Maybe not balance, but it does give you balance, but it gives you kind of that path.
Oh yeah.
The path, right? So
yeah.
And that's something that and it's something that can be applied to any part of your life. Think about it. It doesn't matter if you're a cop or you're a soldier or you're a school teacher or you're a stay-at-home mom or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Those are all skills that
some of them stay-at-home moms got that Bowflex, that Thai bow. They'll put it on you, try to steal that bag.
Is that dude even around anymore?
Billy Blanks. I saw his son on Shark Tank. Shark Tank. Billy Blanks Jr. He was selling workout stuff, workout tapes.
What? Really?
Yep. He said his dad grossed the highest workout tape ever, all time. Holds the record.
Seriously.
Because
you never see the infomercials anymore.
Well, I mean, he's rich. He's made it.
But I mean, is that real though? I mean, is it a real deal?
I don't know if you remember. He was in some karate movies back in the day.
Dude, those were movies.
But he was there before the workout, and he was shredded.
God, he was shredded.
He was shredded.
He really was, and super bald.
Super bald. Billy Blanks was sexy.
He was a sexy man.
He was sexy man.
But I still think he was full of shit.
No, it works. It's got to work.
I think it was a gimmick.
No, I think that it definitely worked. Because, so you think about the basis. What he was teaching was punches at a high rate, knee strikes, which are bringing your abs up, and you're working your upper body. He was the core workout before there was a core workout, my friend.
Well, okay. All right.
He was legit.
But I think
Could he beat you up? Possibly.
No.
You don't know that. He was in karate movies.
Not unless he did his fitness routine in front of me and I just
died of laughter.
Yeah, I mean,
listen,
because that's what it is a fitness routine, right? Billy Blanks, I'm sure you're
but
an awesome guy.
I will tell you this. I'm gonna plug these people, and they didn't give me any money for this. I promise you guys. I did Insanity for a little while.
Insanity, is that similar to the
hip hop abs?
P90X.
P90X, very very similar to P90X and hip hop abs.
Yeah,
very similar. Kicks your butt because the whole time it's 30 minutes of intense cardio because you never stop moving.
Yeah, I watched one of those videos one time on YouTube. I was eating a bag of Doritos.
And you sweat it?
I sweated.
Your clothes watching it?
It was mainly because it was spicy nacho Doritos I was eating, but it looked intense.
It is intense. I will tell you, I did that, and it actually is a crazy workout, but I'm inconsistent with everything in life when it comes to working out, so I went through the first tape and was like, I'm good.
Sure, yeah.
No, right. Yeah, man, Insanity is a real deal. It was the truth. I will say that. I don't know. Taibo, it fell off, but I have a feeling that it's going to make. Isn't
Taibo? It's just a workout routine though. It's not like a real self-defense sort of deal.
It is jazzercise on steroids.
So it's like kung fu jazzercise.
Yes,
essentially. With a large scary man who smiles a lot.
It could work. It could work. So, as a police officer and being in some fights, what do you feel would be a good discipline to pick up?
100% jujitsu.
100%.
Or judo. And I'll tell you,
judo, yeah, because you're going to use that person's weight against them.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
But most fights, and this is not even just law enforcement, this is most fights in general, end up on the ground.
Oh, all day.
And what does jujitsu teach you? It teaches you how to fight on the ground.
Yep.
And you can apply a bunch of mixed martial arts aspects and incorporate those, right?
Yeah.
But jujitsu, I'm telling, if there's a martial art that should be a discipline in law enforcement, it's jujitsu.
Well, there's the reason that the military goes to it.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Because it makes sense.
Your fight's gonna end up on the ground because people are going to bum rush you.
Right, and in our job, there are times, and I'm here to tell you there are times where you're gonna throw blows.
Oh yeah.
there are fights that are that bad where it's just like your little defensive tactics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They don't work.
No.
All they're doing is pissing that person off.
No. Listen, I will tell you this. So I got into my fight like a year and a half ago, and it was my first one, and I didn't think of anything defense. I think I thought of a knee strike with my knee. I was like, I'm gonna.
Well, but that goes into it. We'll talk about that in length on another podcast. But it goes into this. It goes into training.
Yes.
And the frequency of training.
But there's no time sometimes to reach for the taser. There's no time to reach for your baton. You're just in the thick.
Well, sometimes you can't physically get to it.
No, you're in the thick.
And hell, at that point, you're talking about deploying a taser on somebody at close quarters.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what you have to do? Yeah. You can't shoot the prongs because there's not enough
dry
spread.
stunning all day.
So you got to find time to remove the cartridge, flip it on, and start drive stunning people. And this is it's one of those things that, I don't think the majority of people understand when it comes to when cops have to fight somebody.
Yeah.
Is because when two people get in a fight on the street, two just regular people get in a fight on the street,
yeah,
all of a sudden it's okay that there's no rules.
Yeah.
But if a police officer is having to defend himself, all of a sudden there's rules for the cop, right? Yeah. Which
that's not fair.
Now, if we're talking about like deploying batons and just going to town on somebody,
yeah,
that's a problem.
That's a problem, yeah. And I want people to know that, like, so on this podcast, you're going to get straight, honest opinions. You're going to get how we really feel about things. And we are not cop lovers. We're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to find a way to justify what a cop did. If I look at that, and if just like you look at that and be like, dude, come on, that's wrong.
If it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah, if it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't care who you are, what your job is.
And I mean, we could spend a series of podcasts on police videos that we watch and go, oh my God.
That's assault. That is assault.
What are you doing, sir?
So I don't want anybody listening to this podcast just being like, oh, they're cops and they're going to always find a way to justify things for cops. Nope.
No. But at the end of the day, and there's a but, that being said, all right?
Yeah, but with that being said,
that being said,
people attack us and we have to defend ourselves too. And what you don't realize is there's a gun already in the fight.
Right. And hopefully it stays on your belt.
Hopefully it stays on your belt. But think about it. I get knocked out. What do you think that bad guy's going to reach for? He's already gone because he's swinging on a cop.
Yeah, if you've reached that point, right? The normal person doesn't just walk up to a cop and just start, let's throw down.
Let's throw down. So, in my mind and most officers' mind, if I'm unconscious, he's going to kill me. Or he's going to take my gun and kill somebody else around. Right.
Well, that comes into the reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily injury and death, which justifies lethal force, from anyone, not just a police officer, anyone, any person. Yeah. But check your local laws. We're in Texas, so it's a little different.
Yeah. If you're in Florida, you're free reign. You can do what you want there.
On meth, whatever. But I think jiu-jitsu is good for cops because of the simple fact that you're talking about submissions, right? And this is one of the crazy things. Okay, so it used to be back in the day. Yeah. It used to be that you could, chokeholds were no big deal. Rear naked chokehold was no big deal, right?
Yep.
One person messes that up.
Oh, yeah.
And now police departments across the country ban that.
Yep.
It is one of the most effective. I've used it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's one of the most effective tools. If you get somebody on the ground, you can get them in a chokehold.
Oh, yeah.
You can squeeze enough into submission most of the time without even having them pass out.
Yeah.
Right? I understand that departments don't want to do that necessarily because of liability and all that stuff.
Because you're high on adrenaline, too.
Of course, yeah.
And you may not let go.
Maybe. I mean, I think it depends on
definitely a liability.
It depends on your training, and it depends on your discipline and how you're able to.
There's that key word. Training.
Training, yeah, it's huge.
Word of the day.
And believe me, that's a topic we're going to get into quite a bit. Sure. But when you're talking about a martial art that teaches you submission, right? Because when we use force against somebody, and we don't want to, but when we do, we have to go that one level higher than what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then you continue to escalate until it works. But if you're able to take their power away from them, if you get them on the ground, you're able to take their power away from them, they can't move.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, somebody else is going to come help you. Another cop's going to show up.
And same thing in the military. That's what they teach you. I mean, military is a little bit different. You can, they teach you these moves, and you can use the deadly force, because if you're in that sort of fight in the military, it's...
Oh, sure. And you're talking about a different environment.
Yeah, totally different environment. But I will say this, is not to,
to a degree.
There's an asterisk on this. I've been in, combatives tournaments, and I've used rear naked chokes on anyone, and I don't believe any of them died from it. But it's the military. People are healthier. People tap out. It's a controlled environment.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
And that's the whole thing.
You brought up the health thing.
You don't know
huge.
someone's health. You know what I mean? You put someone in a chokehold who has larynx problems, and you barely squeeze and you crush their larynx.
Sure.
They're dead.
Of course, that wasn't your intention.
Yeah, exactly. Not your intention, but it happens. And
it happens.
Everyone's going to look at you like,
sure,
you're the cop who killed the guy.
Well, you will be.
No, you're that guy.
You will be. And the whole argument of whether it was an accident or was justified or whatever,
it does not matter.
That's all for the court and your administration to decide.
Yep. But I will think, being a huge boxing fan, dibble-dabbled in boxing a little bit when I was younger, even when I was a little bit older. It's just you're not going to square up with someone in a fight on the street.
Right.
You're just not going to do it.
Well, and I'll tell you what, right now, that's one of my biggest weaknesses.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a square-up, stand-up, throwing punches fight? I'm not good.
You're done.
I'm not good. I do not throw a great punch.
Oof.
I don't. And that's one of my failures. Yeah. It's one of my failures as being a cop and just, kind of, in some ways, being a man.
Yep.
Right? But, if I can get you on the ground, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And I'm really good on the ground. But I didn't learn those things. I didn't learn how to be good in a ground fight from a martial art. Though I did take I took a year of judo when I was younger.
Okay.
But a year, whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's a year.
I got a black eye from a girl and I wanted to quit. I really did. She punched me in the eye. I was so upset. I cried.
Just stop.
But but my experience through that and what actually has pointed me in the direction of going, hey, you know what? I should probably fine-hone these skills into an actual discipline, an actual martial art.
Oh, yeah.
Is how quickly those things spin out of control.
Oh, yeah.
But even though I've gained a ton of experience from fights, right? Because working in a large urban, environment like a Dallas or wherever is going to... You're going to get exposed to those things.
Oh, yeah,
you're going to get
sure.
in fights. But prior to law enforcement, I'd been in 3 fights. 3 fights in my life.
That was it?
3.
Wow.
3. I lost 2 of them.
Oof.
The only reason I won the other one is because I really wanted to fight. I sucker punched the guy. Because he was a guy that kicked my ass earlier in high school.
You're a horrible person.
And it was terrible, and it was stupid, and it was just stupid.
And I think that's where I'm a little bit different, because in the military, you're just like, it's combatives day, so it's just like we're going to lay down in the ground, and we're going to do combatives, and they're
going to be awkward for a little bit.
Yeah, and you're just learning that discipline, you're honing it. Before the military, I got in a bunch of fights. I used to get jumped a lot when I lived in Tucson, Arizona. I had a Dallas Cowboys jacket.
So this is where somebody listening to this is going to go, see, they were bullied.
They were bullied,
so they became cops so they could bully other people.
No, that's definitely not true. I grew up in an era where jackets and sneakers were very, very popular.
Gang.
And if you had a certain jacket, you were gonna be asked to give it up, or you were gonna get beaten out of it.
Yeah.
And I was one of those kids who was just like, I'm not giving it up. And I will tell you, just quick little side note, I used to, like, the day before I would leave school, I would program my locker to be one coat away to where when I got to school, I would run off of the bus, put the coat in, open my locker, and throw it in there. It would be freezing, and that's like 60 in Arizona.
But that jacket wasn't getting taken.
But that jacket wasn't getting taken, though. All right? I don't care what set they was claiming.
You won that
I don't care what set they was claiming. And they would be like, give us the jacket. And I'd be like, nope, it's mine. And they would jump me. I would get one good punch in every time.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yeah, but are you talking about, like, several people?
It was like 3 or 4 dudes.
Yeah.
It would always be 3 or 4 dudes.
I mean, unless you're, like, super skilled, like you're talking about, like, Bruce Lee level, you're, and even him.
Yeah.
I don't care what your skill level is if you're taking on more than really one person. But, I mean, maybe lose. 2.
Maybe 2.
Maybe
Depends
2.
on how weak the one is, too.
Or how intoxicated they are.
Yeah.
But... and what your skill level is, but you're
yeah.
talking about 3 or 4 people. I mean, you're going to come out of that hurt.
Yeah, I was in no way, shape, or form bullied. I just grew up in a bad area.
He was bullied.
I was not.
He was a gang member too. From what I'm hearing.
It was a blue jacket. Well, it was a Dallas Cowboys jacket. It had the
God!
It was the starter jacket, the big puffy one, and had the huge star on the back, and then it said Dallas.
You know who wears that, don't you?
I've heard. There's some gangs that wear that.
You've seen who wears that.
I've heard.
So anyway, but no, I mean it's that's right. I mean it's 100%. What you're saying is right. You know, it's you never know
what you're gonna.
You never know what you're going to get into, unintentionally most of the time. You know, unless you're just an idiot, right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the best way to win a fight?
Not start one.
Get away from it.
Yeah.
Walk away from it.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Well, some people think that's cowardice.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I think it's smart. If you can get away from a fight.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, definitely.
Yeah. Well, with age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
Right?
With age comes wisdom. Yeah. There's no way being in my 30s that if someone was like, "Let's throw down," I'm gonna be like, "You want some of me?" I'm just. It's not happening.
It's on, right?
Yeah. Unless someone throws like paper or spits at me.
So the 2 actual fights that I had before law enforcement, right? It was one of those deals where it was like there was a challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
That was dumb. Because
you learned your lesson that quick.
Oh yeah, real fast. Like I'm not even sure my arms got up. You know, it was just like boom, done.
Yeah, see, I grew up where it was just like fighting was like I said. So Arizona is very close to California. We're influenced by so much stuff that goes on in California, and that comes with the just the fight mentality too. It's just like that fool looked at me crazy, and it's just like, well, we're gonna fight today. So I mean, I was in a lot of fights as a kid.
Well, like when I was in high school, you know, I mean, I was like, the school was like so divided up, right? So you had, well, growing up where I grew up, there was like 3 black people, I think. Wow. So you're not talking about like super diverse, but predominantly Hispanic, right?
And this is where someone listening to the podcast goes, "He's a racist."
He's a racist, yeah. So, like, you know, I'm. And this is going to sound funny, right, to some people, but I was minority white boy, right?
Oh yeah.
Fortunately, I was always kind of the class clown, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of got along with everybody.
Yeah.
But all around me was like just a bunch of wannabe gangbangers and some actual gangbangers, but like they fought all the time. I mean, there was fights. There was fights all the time to the point where, you know, it got to, and I know it's commonplace now, you know, for school resource officers and stuff. But back then, in the 90s, in most school districts, you didn't have cops, right?
We had one at our high school.
We had off duty. It was like an off duty for people that don't know what off duty is. Off duty is like an extra job that you can work as a police officer or sheriff's deputy or whatever that's outside of your full time job that for basically you perform a security function or whatever.
Yeah.
So we had like off-duty sheriff's deputies.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
they don't really care about what's going on though, because they're just there to get.
Oh no, they worked.
Oh, did they?
They worked because we had what was called a closed campus, so we couldn't leave for lunch.
Yeah,
we used to like sneak off during lunch.
Oh yeah,
and they, you know, we get caught and then run.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing you do.
Mainly because the guy was like super fat and he couldn't. Yeah. It just wasn't happening.
But yeah, learning back to our topic, learning. A jiu-jitsu, a mixed martial arts, anything. It's just something to put into that toolbox. And that's something that we have in law enforcement that you'll hear and that we always have. You have a toolbox, and there's certain tools you put in it. And, you know, wisdom's in there. You know, that's just something to throw into your toolbox. And it's important to utilize those tools. It's important to hone those tools in, whether that be the stuff on your duty belt.
Sure.
You know, you've got, I know for our department, me and JC work at the same place, in case you guys didn't know that. He actually is the one who trained me when I got to our agency. So, you know, he's sort of like my mentor, I guess, if I have to pick one.
More of a muse, but whatever.
More of a muse. But he knows his stuff, though, really. He knows the law. On our duty belt,
I just fake it till I make it.
We have your weapon, which is your service pistol. We've got our taser. You've got your flashlight, and you're like, "Oh, Big Bo, what does your flashlight do?" Flashlight's a huge tool when you're walking into a dark room or, you know, someplace that's low light to manipulate that room so that you can see stuff to where people can't see you. It's something else you got to learn. You got your handcuffs, and you need to learn you need to know how to use that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, especially, I mean, obviously, those are the tools of the trade for law enforcement. You have to master those tools.
Yeah, you've got to master your tools.
You have to understand where they fit in the realm of importance, depending on what it is that you're doing. And the same thing goes for any profession. You're a plumber.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, like a mechanic, you're not going to want to go to get your oil changed, and that guy's like, well, I know how to use one pair of pliers.
And that's
all I'm going to use to fix your car with. And you're like, well...
You're like, do pliers even... Do you even use pliers for that stuff?
How are you going to fix this? And it's the same way with our job. You want to know how to use your tools. And, I hope people listening to this are getting that, you need to learn how to use these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some officers who your baton probably has dust on it right now.
Like mine.
Oh, gosh. Get that thing out and swing it, brother.
Well,
at air,
right?
At air, not on humans, but you've got to use those things.
Listen, I've used my baton twice on people where my OC spray didn't work.
Never
pepper
used
spray.
It. Never used it. Hope I don't ever have to use that baton.
But if it didn't work, that's the thing. You know what it did?
Jammed.
It just pissed them off more.
Oh God!
Especially if they're like on drugs.
Oh yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
I mean, yeah,
neither is a punch.
They're going to feel it later.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
But I don't even think about my baton half the time unless I need to break a window, or I've got somebody that's like passed out from drugs or whatever, and I need to do like a sternum rub or something like that to get their attention. Other than that, they're also really good for like getting itches under your vest.
I bought a back scratcher for that.
Did you? But yeah, I mean, so I don't even think about my baton, honestly, most of the time. Although that back scratcher sounds amazing.
No, it really is, and it's metal too, and it's also has a magnet on it. Mm. So like when I drop things because I'm fat, I can just use that.
God, that's the worst.
In your vest? Oh God, I'm here to tell you guys. Listen, if you think that when you see cops that are fat, and this is the thing I don't ever want to be, is I don't want to be that fat cop on YouTube that everyone's like making fun of. So like that's one of my other motivations to lose weight. But if you think that cops are like, oh, I'm just going to be fat because this is the most uncomfortable uniform you can ever wear if you're fat. Seriously. Because you're already...
God, it's not made for fat people.
No, you're already behind the 8 ball because the thing is 30 pounds. So then you add on to that, you're fat. Yeah. So now you're pushing 350.
You know what the worst is? The worst is when you drop something.
Oh, yeah. Everything comes untucked.
Well, you can't bend over.
No.
You have to like curtsy.
Yeah.
And if there's something to lean up against, you put your arm up there and you're like, it's terrible.
No, it really is. It's a horrible decision to be fat in this uniform. But you got to pull the baton out. If you're a cop, I challenge you right now. If you're a cop and you're listening to this and you know you haven't pulled your baton out in 3 months to check it, pull it out and try to extend it. One or two things is going to happen. It's not going to expand.
Right.
Or you're going to realize that it's loose and it just falls apart like putty. So you need to oil that just like you do your weapon. You need to clean it. You need to take it apart. Use your baton.
Learn how to take it apart.
Learn how to take it apart.
It's part of mastering your tools.
Yes.
By mastering your tools, you also have to maintain your tools.
Yes. And so you have to use your tools that you have. And part of your tools can be pulling from past experiences. You know what I mean? So if you're, going to a house or a situation that you've been there before and this is what worked last time and this isn't what worked the other time you went out there, try some more of that.
Right.
Every call is not the same.
No, God, no.
At all. And the drunk lady that you go to her house 15 times a month, she's not always the same. You may go to her house and she loves you. You may go to her house and she's butt naked and hates you. You have to deal with every call differently. Which has happened.
Yes.
It has happened to us. You have to pull from your toolbox. You really do. And you have to master your tools, man.
Understanding when, like for cops especially, understanding when it's appropriate to pull your gun.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of seeing videos of law enforcement on YouTube where it's like nobody fights anymore. Nobody goes hands on. Everybody just goes, oh my God, and go straight for their gun. And
another one would be straight for the taser. I've seen
straight
that.
For the. You
don't want to get out of your car. I'm not going to try to talk you out of your car, or I'm not going to call a supervisor. Right. I'm going to tase you out of that thing.
Well, the taser has its appropriate. Time. It has its appropriate place, and you can use a taser. Obviously, a taser is a good tool if you don't, or if you want to avoid a fight, right? And you have that distance, and you have the ability to control that scene.
Yeah,
it's a good tool to use, right? For sure. But it's not always appropriate.
No, it's not the end all be all. And I've seen a lot of officers use it for that.
Well, and you see, and not to mention that, but the taser doesn't always work.
Nope.
Either you have a mechanical failure, or you don't get a good spread, or you don't get
loose clothing.
Loose clothing. The prongs don't set straight. And then what are you doing? You got to figure out what to do after that. And I've actually seen cops deploy the taser. They fire it, and then it doesn't get a good connection, and it's like, what do I do now?
Moment.
What do I do now? So you have to be prepared to, and this goes right back to learning a martial art, or learning some sort of combatives. Is that you have to, what happens when it fails?
Yeah,
you have to have a backup. You have to. Taser's a good tool when it works.
Yeah, not only that, but just in life. So what happens when you are putting yourself in position to be the next person in line to get that promotion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've politicked, you've done your work, you're there on time, you're everything that they want at your job. Everybody in the office loves you. You're the go-to guy. And they hire the person that's been there either longer than you or the person that's been there not as long as you.
Right.
What do you do? What's your plan B? Are you going to continue to show them that they made the wrong mistake? Or are you going to tuck tail, go home, cry, and start putting in an application somewhere else? What are you going to do? What's your plan B?
Both are, and both are things that people do. I think probably most people, and this is a mistake that, I'm not speaking from some high horse here, These are things that we've all done. We've all been in these positions in some way, shape, or form. And you know how to fix it. You know how to make it to where you get to that position.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. Yeah. I didn't get the promotion. This is the attitude you should have.
Yes.
And I'm guilty of not having this.
Oh, 100%.
Just like you are.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think most people, but you say, okay, I didn't get it. Great. Wonderful. I'm going to work harder.
I'm going to show them that they made a mistake. I'm going to show them that they should have picked me. And I'm not telling you you're going to get that promotion next time it comes up.
And you're also not going to rub it in their face.
Exactly.
No.
Because no boss wants that.
No, because that's just going to turn things against you.
Yep. And I will tell you this. Another piece of my history. I have a relative who was a state trooper in Arizona for 15, 16 years. And I remember the first time I applied at a real agency. Not to say that a college isn't a real agency, but I was a part-time police officer at that agency. I went through an interview process, didn't make it, washed out. And I remember calling him and I was just like, man, I didn't get the job. Like, I just knew I was going to get that job. And he was like, they probably told you no just because they want to see if you're going to apply again. And I was like, you're lying. He was like, no. DPS does it all the time. He was like, they'll have a qualified candidate and they will tell that person no just to see how bad they want that job. If they're going to apply again, and they will give them well, there was something on your credit that we didn't like, or there was a mess up in the paperwork, or just something, not disqualifying you, but you're going to have to wait 6 months to apply again because they want to see if you're going to do it.
Sure.
And so maybe that's what your boss is doing. We don't think that he's ready yet.
Well, there's something there that they're that they're seeing that maybe you're not aware of. But you have to work hard. You have to put in the work. Don't,
for sure.
And that's and that's with anything in life. If you get knocked down, you get right back up. And that's what
always.
As we talked about in the very beginning with what is a street warrior. It's dusting off it's getting knocked down and getting right back up.
For sure.
It's staying in the fight. That's the biggest thing. It really is
staying in the fight. And that is not just our profession. That is every single profession out there. I mean, I've talked to guys who work at car shops and they're just like, oh, my manager said I could get this, this, and this, and then he gives it to somebody else and they're just like, well, screw this job, I hate it, and they go somewhere else, and all they had to do was stick it out at the place they were working and they probably would have got what they were promised.
Just give it that time and dedication.
Yeah, honestly. So
Well, I think that's about all we got in our brains at the moment.
That's definitely everything we had that we wanted to talk about in episode 1.
So let's move on to a little Q&A.
Okay.
All right.
So we got a question from Alex. You can ask us questions on any of our social media forums, and we will gladly put them in the show. We got this one from, where did we get this? From the website?
Yes, it came in through the website. Yeah.
Came in through the website, and you can reach us on our website at info@streetwarriorradio.com is where we can be reached. Alex asks, what is the most important thing to know/have to get through the police academy? I'll let you take the lead on that one.
So,
great question, by the way, Alex. I hope you're listening.
Yeah, and thanks for reaching out.
Thanks for reaching out. We really do appreciate it.
Most important thing to know or have to get through the police academy, patience. Patience is going to be the biggest thing. You have to understand that this is the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
It's the foundation. So,
oh, yeah.
And understand that what you're learning in the police academy is the base of knowledge that you're going to need to do the job. Most of your knowledge, most of your skills and abilities are going to come through field training, and then when you get out on your own on the street, you're going to be learning through your own mistakes.
Yeah.
But in the police academy, it's looking at every day as your focus. Every day has to be your goal. You can't worry about graduating. You can't worry about
getting a job.
Getting all that. It all depends. I mean, it all depends. It depends on if you're putting yourself through the academy or if you are sponsored by an agency, which is the way I would recommend to go. If you absolutely, I mean, if all possible, that's the way to go because one, you're getting paid. It just depends. I was sponsored through the academy through my first agency.
I put myself through.
And you put yourself through. There's benefits. There's pros and cons to both.
There really is.
The main pro is the fact that you're getting paid.
That is the biggest pro, and that you have a job. I mean, so most academies have like 80% higher on rates.
Right.
That's here in Texas. I can't speak for every other state, but most academies I see have an 80% high. I don't know too many people that go through a police academy that put themselves through that do not get a job. If you didn't get a job, it's something you did that you lied about. I will say the biggest thing I think you need is a good home base. Mm-hmm. I think that is huge because you're going to be intaking a bunch of knowledge and information in a short period of time.
And it's hard for people that
have a hectic home life.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If your home life is not in order when you get ready to go to the academy, I think you will have a difficult time. I'm not going to say you can't do it, but I think you will have a difficult time because the time that you should be spending studying for your exams is going to be spent on dealing with things that are going on in your home, in your own personal life.
Sure.
Not to say it can't be done, because anything is possible.
Because the studying is going to involve a lot of your time.
Studying is going to involve a lot of your time.
You have to learn laws. You have to learn use of force. You have to learn... I mean,
there's a ton of stuff. Yeah. And listen, I will segue into this. I don't agree with Colin Kaepernick on a lot of stuff he's ever said, but one thing I do agree with what he said is... most police academies are 6 months and hairdressers are a year.
Sure.
And I think that he's onto something there. I think you definitely need more than 6 months because it's just, like you said, it's just a base.
Right.
You cannot remember everything that you did in the police academy. That was 6 months. It's just like, okay, I remember a little bit of stuff here,
sure,
and a little bit of stuff here, and I'm going to go into an agency with that little bit of knowledge. So like that 6 months was really like 3 months.
Yeah, well, I mean...
You're doing driving, you're doing shooting, you're doing use of force. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I kind of look at it like this, where he has a point in his statement, there's also a short-sightedness in that statement.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because you don't just go to the police academy. I think the perception is...
Yeah, the perception is we just go and then that's it. You're on the street, you're by yourself.
Yeah,
you're a cop, here's your gun, here's your badge. No. It doesn't work like that. There's a whole nother year of training that comes after that at your job.
Right. I mean, you got field training and then, and then on top of that, you're going to have your leadership and your senior officers and all that. They're going to be helping you learn. After that, at least they should be. There should be some sort of mentorship there, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But in the police academy, one thing I would say is that, and I watched this happen when I was in the police academy. So let's say you're in a sponsorship sort of position, right, where you're not putting yourself through, you're not having to work a full-time job or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's say you're sponsored and you're getting paid to be there, and that's your only responsibility is being in the academy. You need to treat it as if it's not a guarantee. Yeah. Because I watched people in the academy as soon as they got there, because my academy I went to was all sponsored. Everyone there was sent by an agency. And what happened is there's a lot of guys that bought brand new big trucks and put lifts on them and bought all this and did that. And then guess what? They failed out of the academy.
Oof. Or they washed out of training.
Yep. So having a good foundation for yourself and kind of treating everything as like, okay, all right, I'm doing this. I'm going to get it done, but I'm not going to go crazy with my finances because nothing's a guarantee. Yep. Nothing's a guarantee. I knew people in the police academy that went through the police academy, were good to go. They got out of the police academy and they were like, wow, I don't like this job. This is not for me. Oh, yeah,
it's not for everybody, man.
And you
isn't.
And you may find yourself in that position.
Yep.
But you may not. Hopefully you don't if it's something you really want to do. But the police academy, it's just literally taking every day as a day at a time.
Yep.
And paying attention to your instructors, not falling into cliques that happen.
Yep.
Not falling into...
Because you're not going to go with those people.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to go with those people.
Yeah.
Because what happened, those people leave the academy, they have that clique mentality.
Yep.
And they do the same thing in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of douchebags in law enforcement. It's just true.
Oh, yeah. There's douchebags in life. But listen, I will tell you, there are some douchebags in the police world. Especially if, if you work for, let's say, a Houston PD, and then, what's one of the places outside of Houston? Sugarland?
Yeah.
And those Houston PD, some of those dudes, they'll look down on those Sugarland. You're not from a big agency.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's some of that. There's a lot of that.
It really comes back to taking each day at a time, paying attention to your instructors, studying.
And asking questions.
Keeping up with your physical fitness.
Yep.
If the academy doesn't have some sort of physical fitness plan, which most do, but some are way looser than others.
Yeah, like mine. Mine was way loose.
But mine was not. Mine was pretty strict.
Yeah.
At least that was my training coordinator was pretty strict on that. He's an Army drill instructor.
My training coordinator looked like a Greek god, and he was 60. God, handsome man.
Mine was straight up Army drill instructor.
Good.
Straight up.
Good job. So he hated you.
No, he was a nice guy.
Okay.
But when it came to the PT, we did it more than the other class that was going concurrently. But
cool.
Pay attention to your physical fitness. If you have time, if you're not overwhelmed by the things that are going on in the academy, go to a range. Yeah. Learn how to shoot. Take some martial arts. Build on your foundations.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as you do that, and as long as you stay humble and don't get cocky and keep your ego in check, I think that, you'll be successful.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So that was Alex's question. I hope we answered it, Alex. Let us know on our social media. And you can find us on social media. So I will be honest, I run our Instagram page. That is me. So I have the biggest influence on Instagram because I just love Instagram. And I don't really like the other two. So JC runs the other two, to be honest with you. So for Instagram, you can find us at Street Warrior Radio. Facebook, Street Warrior Radio. Twitter, at Street Warrior Radio. They're all the same. We kept it simple, stupid. So,
although the spelling's a little different on the Twitter because they only allow so many characters on the name.
How do you spell it on Twitter?
It's like...
I don't even have a Twitter.
It's STRT, then the word warrior, and then radio is RDIO.
Okay. All right. So you can find us there on Twitter, Facebook, Street Warrior Radio.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Instagram, Street Warrior Radio. You can also find us on our website. You can send us questions, comments, concerns. You can get on our website and tell us that you hate this podcast. We would really like that. It's info@streetwarriorradio.com. We have everything on there. We've got some recommendations for books. We've got an Amazon click site. So if you're surfing Street Warrior Radio, seeing what we're about, and then you're like, oh, I forgot my anniversary is coming up. Boom. Amazon's right there. All right. So make sure you check us out on our website. We'd really appreciate it. I know JC put a lot of time into that. He kept me up a couple of nights complaining about how much time he put into that website, and it's a beautiful website. Please go visit it.
StreetWarriorRadio.com.
StreetWarriorRadio.com. Click like on our YouTube. Follow us. Tag us. Send us your comments, man. We really want to hear from you guys. This is just episode 1. We're just getting started, so we would really appreciate your feedback. You know, you guys sound like crap. You're too far away from the microphone. Anything will help out, all right, guys? So I'm Big Bo, sending you salute. I'm signing off. JC?
So remember that all the challenges we experience during the day, every day, we have to fight. We have to persevere. We can't give up. We have too many people that depend on us. All we want in our lives is to succeed, whether that be at work or at home. It doesn't matter. You stay in the fight. And I want to send a special thank you to our men and women in uniform in the armed forces who work every day tirelessly, sacrificing their time with their family to keep us safe, to allow this podcast and everything else that we do to happen. Without them, we couldn't do anything. We wouldn't have this amazing country. We wouldn't have these amazing things that we have. And to their families who also make that sacrifice with their loved ones. To law enforcement and all the other first responders out there, we appreciate you. We love you. You guys are our family. Stay safe and keep doing what you do. And to everyone else out there, keep on. Stay in the fight. We appreciate you. We love you. Welcome to the Street Warrior Radio family. Out.